We will call to order the regular board meeting of the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago. Good morning. My name is Marisel. Hernandez. Seated to my left is Commissioner Jonathan Swain, and to my right is Commissioner William Kresse. The next item on the agenda is the consideration of the agenda. Are there any suggested changes? If not, we will proceed with the approval of the regular board meeting minutes of August 27, 2019. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is the Executive Director's report. Mr. Gough.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of things I'd like to inform the board members. First of all, Friday, October 18th, Reform for Illinois was here in Chicago, and along with the League of Women Voters and Vote at Home, had a presentation. And Jim Allen was the one that opened up the meeting, and he did an excellent job. So I want to thank Jim for that. It went real well.
Thank you.
Second item is on Friday, October 18th, we had a meeting over at the Cook County Detention Office, 26 in California, and had a meeting with the staff out there to talk about pretrial detainee voting. Instead of the 5 tiers, we're going to 7 locations in the area, and we're going to do it for 2 weekends. We're going to start it on Saturday, March 7th, and Sunday, March 8th, and then come back on March 14th, and finish up on March 15th. I have to tell you, I've been to a lot of meetings in my life, but this was probably the most well-run meeting I've ever seen. The staff out at 26 and Cal was incredible. Their executive director, she ran a real good meeting. I mean, it had everything to the T. We still have some follow-up meetings. We need to talk about, the board's going to draft up some poll watcher credentials, especially for pretrial detainees. We're going to put together an information package, and we may have to put it out on the web if somebody wants to send literature. There's a certain address that they have to send the literature to. So it looks like this is going to be a test. It's the first time out. But I think everybody knows what they have to do. I mean, I was impressed with my staff there also. They asked all the right questions. I think we are really ready for this.
Right.
So we've, in fact, I spoke to Clint about the cartage companies making deliveries out there, and backup equipment and people to recruit for this. So I think we'll be in real good shape. Another item is that it's that time of year, people are checking petitions. We got a letter requesting extended hours starting Wednesday, October 23rd, from extended hours from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday, October 26th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday, November 4th and 5th, November 4th, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., Thursday, November 7th, from 5 to 9, and Saturday, November 9th, from 9 to 4. So they've already started. Just the other item is that after we're talking with Charles, and the county's really excited about this, but we've done it before. For the, we'll be able to, if somebody comes in for a petition that is straddling jurisdictions, they can come in our office and check signatures on the county side also. So it'll make it a lot easier for people doing that petition work. Other items are that we know about the upcoming budget hearings. Here's a copy of the budget book. It's not complete because all the material, we haven't received all the material from the city. They're still making some changes in it right now. And I will prepare a county budget book. We had a preliminary meeting with the city. I found out we're not going to have a preliminary meeting with the county. We're just going to go right in on election. at that day and give our presentation. But everything seems to be going well. A couple of items on your desk is the ballot, the new format that we'll be using with the red circles for your information, and also an email and internet security quick reference guide that we gave to everybody in the office. And I think that's enough right now. Open for any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So how does this ballot compare in terms of just the number of names and races to the ballots we have had before? Is it, are we getting more because it's longer, or is it?
No, well, we've always gone to a 22, 21, 22 inch ballot, so that hasn't changed.
It's narrower, right?
It is narrower, but I think Gary, the surface, we're still covering the same amount.
Yeah.
So I think we're in real good shape.
And how long is this?
This is a 22 inch ballot.
22-inch ballot.
This is the width that will fit the Dominion.
Right. This is what, when you vote on paper, you put this in the scanner. So this is the ballot that you will be using.
Question, next to each name, to the left of the name, there's a black oval, and to the right, there's a red oval.
That is the, we call it punch numbers.
Okay, so the punch numbers will go in where the
Yes.
black ovals are.
Yes, they are.
Just for the sample.
That's just a
punch numbers.
placeholder, that's all.
Right, and just throwing out there, any colorblind individuals, will they see the red oval?
No, they couldn't see the two lines either, so,
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think this,
I'm gonna ask that question to Equip for Equality.
Okay, if you would.
Hopefully the answer is they'll see it in gray.
But they could also use the touch screen.
Well, certainly, yes.
and that's why the touchscreen's there.
Right.
Okay. And the platform that the voters have to fill this out, seeing that it's longer,
It's
will
the
it?
same size booth that we use right now, and we have a 22 inch ballot
Oh,
right now, so
okay,
it's not.
so it shouldn't be a
Not a
problem.
difference.
Okay, thank you.
So let me just go back so I'm clear. So we have, the ballot's length is generally what we use.
Yes,
The width is narrow.
yes.
And so, but you're saying, what about the surface area?
The old ballots have more white space along the edge.
Okay.
Yeah, this
And
is,
so this
because they had different timing marks on the old ballot, so
Okay.
we haven't lost any actual space,
You haven't lost any printing space.
pretty space.
Okay.
It may be a less slightly, but it's not enough to notice.
We can give you one of the older ballots to compare it against, so you can see the difference in the margins on the right and left.
Okay.
And the font size is the same?
No, we're using a different font size that is the same size, same font size that the county's using, and I think it's a lot easier to read. The stuff that we had before was a little more condensed.
I would agree, yeah.
There are no further questions. We'll proceed with Mr. Holliday. Good morning, Mr. Holliday.
Good morning, Madam Chair and fellow commissioners. The warehouse is hard at work with additional staff preparing for the reception of our new voting equipment. Our cameras return at this time, we've had 100,000 cards returned. 58,195 of those have been scanned, and 33,950 have already been verified in preparation for the second notice to go out. Our weekly meeting with Dominion team and the board's team are ongoing and making progress in the implementation of our new equipment. ES&S they're working on activating the cards and upgrading the e-poll book stand to accommodate the new card reader. The staff is working hard throughout the office in preparation for both judges training and the new equipment, and just getting the jump on the next election,
Great,
trying to stay ahead of things.
great, thank you, Mr. Holliday. Mr. Allen?
Good morning, Commissioners. So in addition to the presentation with Reform for Illinois, since the last meeting, also made that trip out to Juarez High School As an aside, the teacher noted that at the previous election, she had led 3 field trips. And that was just the ones that she led at that high school. There were others as well. So it's good that we're building on a foundation as far as teachers having experience making these field trips to the polls. Other than that, working on budget documents, form signage, and other printed materials. The I voted wristbands, we're trying to incorporate something regarding the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, and also the demonstration ballot, which we'll be using in presentations for community groups. We're going to try to shorten it a little bit and add a couple of fun referenda questions. So.
Any questions? Okay, if not, we'll proceed into old business, infrastructure projects and changes in election administration and voting equipment.
Ongoing, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Electronic poll books?
All the preparation is still on, all the preparation is still ongoing with the.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lasker, legislation?
There's a vote scheduled on the omnibus bill for the 28th, and other than that, the session is not a session for standard legislation.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll proceed to new business, and the first item is the approval of the amendment number 3 to the agreement for temporary staffing services between APRO execs and the Board of Election Commissioners. Mr. Lasker?
Thank you. Our purchasing agent, Opal Walls, has worked with APRO and MAC Associates. Those are the 2 organizations we've been working with for temporary staffing. We did a full procurement, and this would be the 3rd extension that's authorized by the contract. We've been doing a little talking with Opal. We are going to try to have things work like this a little bit more, to ease up the demands on the procurement office. When we go out to bid and get good pricing and have a contract that allows for an extension, we appreciate that the contractors are willing to continue operating at the same price. So we've got that locked in the upcoming 2020 cycle. And then we will be going out to bid on that again after this extension.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Can you just refresh my recollection on the contract? How does it address minimum wage increases in the city?
The contract does state that they have to match the minimum wage, and so did we have an increase over the summer?
It was
Right.
July
1st.
But it's basically automatic under the contract that they have to raise the rates and keep them at the level, at or above the level.
And I would just like to add that APRO is a minority woman-owned company that we're renewing with as well.
And what about the question, there was some questions before about the diversity of their hires, and we have made any progress on that?
On what?
The diversity of their hires, and I think there was a question, maybe when we first did the contract about the diversity of the pool.
I'm not sure what changes they've made as far as diversity go. They're definitely mostly minority, but I think that the mixture of minority might be the issue.
Can we get back, that's what my concern is. Can we look into that and get back to us on that?
Well, Opal, yeah.
Thank you.
That would be great.
Yeah.
And in general, we've had good experience with these 2 agencies, correct?
In general.
Okay. If there are no further questions, is there a motion to amend the agreement for temporary staff services between APRO and the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago, specifically Section 3.03 of the agreement to extend the agreement through December 31st, 2020, and all other terms, conditions, and provisions of the agreement remain in full force and effect and are unchanged. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. The second proposed agreement is between Mack and Associates and the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago. And again, this is an extension of that agreement, proposed extension. Mr. Lasker?
So this again is just one of the two temporary staffing agencies. APRO provides staffing for both downtown here and at the warehouse. MAC is for downtown.
Okay. And again, the only change that is occurring here is the date by which the agreement will expire. All other provisions in the agreement remain unchanged.
Correct.
Okay. If there are no further questions, is there a motion to approve the agreement, amendment number 3, between Mack and Associates and the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago, specifically to amend section 3.03 of that agreement to extend the contract through December 31st, 2020?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We now have a proposed amendment to the standard term subscription agreement between SOE Software Corporation and the Board of Election Commissioners. Mr. Lasker?
SOE Software Corporation, business as Seitel, they have created and maintain our online election judge training classes, and those are going to have to be substantially redrawn to match the new equipment that we're procuring. And so there's substantial additional time that's going to have to go into redrawing the education classes, and therefore an additional cost of approximately $16,000. This is seen as essentially a new development that was not a part of the standard ongoing terms of the subscription agreement. So we're just requesting that you approve tacking this on to the contract so as to allow for the revisions.
Are there any questions?
No, just to answer that question though, we're making these adjustments here for judge training, but are we contemplating any, because of the switching equipment, are we contemplating any more judge training? I mean by more, I mean more hours and more time.
Yes.
Okay.
If there are no further questions, is there a motion to approve the amendment between SOE Software and the City of Chicago? Is it the City of Chicago or the Board of Election Commissioners?
Board of Elections.
Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago to add an additional $16,115 to the contract for re-implementation investment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. The last piece of new business is the proposed short-term lease agreement between 108 North State Street and the Board of Election Commissioners.
108 North State Street is better known as Block 37. This is where we have traditionally held our election judge and election coordinator training classes. We also do sort of dispatch center out of there on election day. And Commissioner Swain, as you asked about training for the new equipment, we are trying to obtain the space in Block 37 for a slightly longer period of time, and also we are increasing by a form of room to accommodate what we see for, we expect for additional training requirements. And so the prices are slightly higher because we've extended the amount of time and the amount of space, but it is otherwise a very good competitive rate as they've given us previously.
Are there any questions?
Early voting space, we're looking into that.
175.
So we're gonna keep that space over
Yeah,
there?
we have 175, and out in the areas, most of them stay the same.
Okay.
Yeah, we've reached an agreement, and that'll probably be on the next agenda.
Excellent. And seeing that Block 37 today opened a Krispy Kreme location, I think I will have to go on a site inspection. So, thank you.
I would actually request the board authorize Lance to sign these contracts, just because that's the way to go.
Is there a motion to authorize the executive director? Is there a motion to approve the short-term lease agreement between 108 North State Street and the Chicago Board of Election Commissioners for the term commencing on December 17, 2019 through March 20, 2020, in the base, for the base rent of $62,000, and further to authorize the executive director to enter into any necessary agreement related to the short-term lease agreement.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Excuse me,
Uh,
there's two agreements with Block 37.
Ah, that's right.
Excuse me.
Right, they're for two different time periods.
One for the general election. Excuse me.
The only differences between the two being the dates. One for the March primary and one for the November general.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Next on the agenda is another short-term lease agreement between 108 North State Street and the Chicago Board of Election Commissioners for the term commencing on August 26, 2020, and ending on November 6, 2020, in the amount of $62,000. Any discussion? All those in favor? Sorry, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay. We have a legal report, Mr. Lasker?
Well, we're wrangling together our hearing officers again for electoral board. We expect the hearings to begin on or about December 16th.
Mm-hmm.
And having had a great recruitment drive last year and training classes and off to a great start with the new hearing officers in addition to the veteran ones, I'm looking forward to a good cycle. We did hear from the city yesterday. It sounds quite likely that we'll be able to obtain bond funds from the city for the purchase of dominion equipment and revise the contract accordingly. I did receive a big thank you from someone who leads a lot of teams of signature reviewers. You heard earlier now you can review signatures for both the city and the county at our office, and that's much appreciated by the people who do that work. Right now it's the campaigns that are checking their own signatures to make sure that the signatures they collect are
Is
valid.
that also, can they do that at the county? Is the reverse true?
Yes.
It's my understanding too, I'm not certain about this, but I believe the county might be offering that in a remote location as well,
Over by where their warehouse is.
out west, so. I'm working with Ms. Walls to get started on some procurements for the pre-lat, the handwriting of experts and the court reporting for the electoral board hearings. And also just wanted to give you a brief update on the Department of Justice Disability Access project. We have been continuing to meet on a very regular basis with the Department of Justice and with the Chicago schools, with the city, and with parks. And there's a lot of movement going forward. The surveys are happening as we speak. The Department of Justice is quite pleased, continuing to be quite pleased with the actions that we're taking. And we're starting to get quite optimistic that we will be in very good shape for November of 2020, but even more so by the extended term of the settlement agreement in November 2022.
I have a question with respect to hearing officers. If I recall, we'll have to approve contracts with those hearing officers.
That's correct.
And how soon will we have a list, a preliminary list of who you're looking at?
I could send you that.
Do that, please.
Yes.
And can you highlight what, those are terms, those are new?
Well, we don't have any new ones for this session, because they were all.
I mean, what I mean by new, is, well, let me ask the question this way. Is everyone that is being considered heard a substantial number of cases? Heard a substantial number of cases as well?
Yes, I mean, approximately half the group, it was their first cycle back in 2019. So some of them have had 2, 3, or 4 cases.
And they got enough work in back then to be able to walk in the cycle?
I'm still going to be selective as to who I give the complicated cases to.
Sure.
But the ones that we're inviting back, which is essentially all of them, did a fabulous job. I think they're off to a great start. They're trying so hard that they're still learning as they go.
Sure.
But I'm confident
this every year.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Lasker. Now we have a financial report. There is a balance sheet and voucher listing for the City of Chicago, a 2019 appropriation number 19-06, dated October 22nd, 2019, in the amount of $531,779.57. Is there a motion to approve?
So,
Second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. I did not receive any requests for public comment. Mr. Lasker, is there a need for executive session today?
Not today.
Okay, if not, then I would request a motion to adjourn to our next regularly scheduled meeting on November 12th, 2019 at 9:30 a.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.